Road Safety Coordinator Sergeant Batson joins me on set live this morning because, again, we're looking at a weekend of 5 fatalities. 2 from the 5, I understand people would have been trying to cross the road. I saw one in the El Socorro region, mere meters away from the walkover. My heart really goes out to the victims, the family of the victims. We send condolences and we say one is too much. Sergeant Batson, we had a discussion recently on the phone line, and again you put into the public domain that reminder. And last weekend, I'm sure, would have been a tough one for yourself and your colleagues.
Well, again, what makes it really hard, Jason, is knowing how preventable these incidents are. You mentioned the distance to the safe crossing. Walkovers are multi-million-dollar cost attached to infrastructure that is designed so that you don't have to put yourself at risk. Yeah. It might take a little bit more effort to reach where it may be. It may not be conveniently located exactly where you want to go. Yeah. But that extra 200 feet is going to make a difference whether or not you live or die. And more importantly, people forget that the consequence sometimes, if you die, true, the person is dead. But you know what is not really taken is when we have to remove survivors that have disabling injuries, Jason, where you have to survive for the rest of your life with massive spinal trauma. You can't even walk again. And those are the other things that really have a ripple effect in society.
You think people, when they're trying to cross a highway, they misaverage the speed of a car or oncoming vehicle? Because I try to figure out, it's daytime. Yes, you're taking a chance, and I'm not suggesting people take any kind of chance. Take the walkover. I don't even experience what it's like to try to run across a highway, but I try to figure out how people end up in that predicament.
Well, again, it's twofold. One is they're so focused on expediting their movement across that highway that somehow they're focusing on reaching where they're trying to go at that point, not realizing that traffic that may be moving on that left lane may have been obstructed because there's a truck in the middle lane. When you're crossing, let's just say a good example, north to south, you didn't have a chance to gauge the speed in that left lane because the truck was obstructing your view. And that vehicle in that left lane was actually going faster than everybody else on the approach. So when you reach into the lane, the path of that vehicle, it's too late. And I just want to mention, as we're seeing that footage there, that and this I want to be clear on what I'm going to be saying here.
That was the one I saw last week Friday.
That's right.
Yeah, with the Subaru. Yeah. I was going to go out with mommy, and I saw that. That was a black Subaru. Yeah. Wrap up around the tree. Yeah. And the person survived this?
Survived that, yeah.
Wow.
It's a miracle. But I want to mention that the trauma attached also to the drivers. What I'm saying, Jason, you innocently didn't mean to strike that pedestrian that suddenly ran across your path. And so sometimes even when these people take these chances, it's easy for us to forget that the drivers are totally traumatized by what just happened to them.
Yeah, that's going to be a nightmare for them for a long time. Because, you'll have to carry now the reality that you took somebody's life by driving your car.
Well, we have cases where body parts ended up inside, persons' vehicles, and that's just one aspect. And the pedestrians that were killed over that weekend, we had, as you correctly said, we had one at Maloney. We had another one at El Socorro, as you just correctly said. But then we also had one in Pinal. Yeah. All right, so we had 3 pedestrians being killed, and pedestrians are categorized as vulnerable road users.
There's the unfortunate circumstance out of Pinal. I heard the mom would have suggested here, I mean, again, I don't know, but there was this talk of drinking involved. And
right, well, it's funny because I know the media is very, quick to call it, the family say they were drunk. Okay, the family has that luxury of saying that, The police have to go on law, right? Until we get some sort of toxicology report, we can't say that was a causation. But the sad thing is that the fact that the family is willing to come out and say that they were eyewitness to a certain behavior that led, pre-incident, it's tragic, right? I mean, the passenger died, the driver died when they lost control. And again, they were also ejected from their vehicle, suggesting an indication of seatbelt use. And yet, seatbelt use continues to be the second highest, most ticketed traffic violation by all traffic law enforcement agencies. So that's a little bit disappointing, because you'd think by now a lot of persons would understand the importance of it. And we continue to emphasize the importance. This is your personal protective equipment for driving. And it's hard to understand why this culture hasn't changed, where people are wanting to wear that seatbelt sometimes.
Sergeant Batson, is it a manpower issue in terms of putting personnel, and I'm thinking here, officers like yourself, in collaboration with, let's say, the traffic wardens at certain strategic points where you see the most antics? I'm talking here Mover Junction. Mover Junction, the kind of driving you see with people trying to get into the gas station from the eastbound, who cutting down the side to come across, to get across the Mover. We look at Price Plaza roundabout. We look at Marabella roundabout. There are certain areas that it's a hell to drive.
Right.
And there's no kind of presence. And it's only, unfortunately, when there is, even Maritime roundabout too, I have to put Maritime inside there too. Is there any kind of plan to have people there, let's say, in the prime time, every single day, rain or shine?
Well, from what I saw with the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, I'm not too sure if the warden's now falling under infrastructure or Transport and Civil Aviation, but I saw that there were some stakeholder meetings planning to increase the manpower capacity of the traffic wardens. So again, so the police could focus more national rather than they can help more in the boroughs and within the city areas. So, but interesting, just to jump back to the incident, because I saw in the Guardian newspaper this morning where the driver involved in the that took the life of a pedestrian in the accident.
10,000 fine.
Yeah, it was fined, 10,000 and disqualified from driving by the magistrate, right? What's also interesting, and this one I emphasize here, is that that's his third DUI charge, Jason. And what this signals is two things. One, the fact that somebody was charged twice before, and that was in regular DUI exercises, means that there's a high chance of being caught. And so when persons say that, well, are the police using breathalyzers? Well, a guy can't be detected. Those offenses cannot be detected without police presence, and consistent police presence for that matter. So this guy, for him to be on a third DUI charge, that speaks to alcoholism, that speaks to a disease that is in society that to me, we still haven't gotten a grapple of. And we're really hoping that support agencies and people need to come out and reach out to NGOs like Alcoholics Anonymous, because it's true, the police, I got a call from one media rep saying, why aren't the police outside a lot more bars and a lot more... How much bars you want the police outside of?
Yeah, so many bars, too many.
That's not even possible.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Even globally, that's not a strategic possibility. So it's the culture that has to change.
Yeah.
And that's not something overnight, but we're doing our part trying to be consistent. We had a truck driver arrested last night with almost twice the legal limit.
Remember, we have any time, any day. And, when we go to first world countries, last call sometimes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, that's it. After 2 o'clock, there's no more alcohol being served.
Also, the server could be charged.
Right.
Yeah.
We leave a party and they put your drink in a plastic cup so you could go to your car. That's just, unfortunately, the culture here. I want to ask you, though, and I'm not suggesting here at all that is something I support. That's just, I identified it to show how ridiculous we are. And there needs to be change so that we could go in the right direction. But let me ask, in the time that remains, what other initiatives are in place? What ball is rolling right now that we could get a major impact on road safety? Walk me through some of the meetings and what's on the cards.
Sure. All right. Well, the good thing, let me start here. With persons asking the questions on technology deployment, right? So the TTPS welcomes, the government's initiatives to start to move towards the camera technology. We are eagerly awaiting deployment of the spot speed camera systems as well as the red light camera systems. And that's going to help so much because, for one, you don't require police outside there with a speed gun. So the police with the manual speed gun deployment can focus on more other problem areas rather than the highways. That's going to be 365 days, 7 days a week, every day. So no matter what, it's going to coerce behaviors through that constant presence. So we're really looking forward to that. We also have some new initiatives coming from the police side. We have some technology that we are crossing our fingers, going to deploy that's upgraded speed equipment with a heightened focus on night enforcement capability, because you'd realize that, from the time there's less traffic, people are going crazy, sometimes going to, and we're running so fast into the end of the year, and even carnival launches, and it's just constant, But persons have to remember there's a consequence. Speed makes a difference whether or not you live or die, or other people live or die on the roads. And that's why speed management is going to be a major focus with that technology. And I want to mention some new upgraded breathalyzer models, which again is going to be a major deterrent to the speed at which we could process offenders.
I was hearing I was watching some developments last week where some of your colleagues would have been given a recognition for distributing, I think, some officers from the Southland.
Yeah, from the Highway Patrol.
Over 1,000 and change tickets.
Over 1,400. Yeah, 41. Oh, yeah.
I see all about some officer all on the road, boy. You get to go blind.
Well, right. It's interesting because remember the commissioner also got some pushback saying, that's not something. That officer shows dedication, out there, and it shows commitment.
And it shows like a discipline to even give the officer the opportunity to distribute 1,400 tickets.
And those forms of deterrence is a critical part of policing operations. Yeah. Remember, our presence is not just about the hard hand, it's about reminding you our role is public safety, which is injury and harm prevention. And we need everybody's support to make that difference.
I'm sure you heard the country's mantra on the road march. You could probably sing a song on it. Why don't go out and get a real criminal?
That's every day. That's every day. Of course, yeah. But a home invasion taking place and you're writing tickets. Yeah. We have police for that, Jason. Yeah. We have police for that. Our job right now is making sure you complete your journey safely.
For sure. And Sergeant Batson, we thank you for that. Keep up the great work, and let's keep the conversation going.
Appreciate that.
For sure. We take the pause. We come back 7 a.m., news update, and then later on, Johanse joins me for our Mental Health Matters Thursday. See you soon.